Okay, so Carrie, um, the why of fundraising. We hear a lot about the why of fundraising. What does it mean?
I think it depends on who you are and what it is you're doing. Essentially, though, the why of fundraising is why do you do it? Why do any of us do it? Why do you turn up for all through the winter to have your summer festival in your village? Right, ranging right through to the big humanitarian causes. I'm from Spirasi. I manage all of the fundraising there with the National Centre for Victims of Torture. So the why for us is our clients. But when I say that broad statement, is anyone listening to this really knowing who my clients are, what they might, go through in a day, what they might have been through in their life, or what their level of suffering is? I don't think just that me telling the name does. If I said I was from, the Dogs Trust, or if I was from a donkey sanctuary, or if I worked for Arthritis Island, straight away you have a good clue about what it is that our constituent people, our service users, would go through. We have to be very clear about the why. Why do we do what we do? Because what will happen then? You'll get these concentric circles building out of, well, the reason we do it is this. This is how we do it. This is why we're drawn to help with this area. This is how we make it happen. When you go out and ask somebody to part with their cash all the time, there has to be a valid reason for doing it. We're in a busy sector now. I mean, we won't even go there with the cost of living crisis, but before that, it's so competitive now looking for money. The days of raffles, the street collections, I do think there's still a space for that, don't get me wrong, but there's lots of them. It's very hard to compete, isn't it? You're getting a bag pack in your calendar is even tough now. And I have been in fundraising now for 2 decades. So I started with the backpacks. I started with the going around with your bucket on a Saturday, doing the tractor walks, the Christmas lights, all of that sort of stuff, as well as trusts and grants and foundations. Even that's changed. What's happened now is shift forward in 10 years, you've got mobile phones. You don't really have iPads and digital fundraising. Facebook is still for your family 10 years ago. Come another go back 5 years ago, people realize we're starting e-commerce is a thing. We're starting to use our credit, debit cards more, and everything moves digital and in a transactional way. The larger charities have got the money, the time, and the people to capitalize on that, whereas a smaller charity like ours, or a community group, or a nursery, or a gardening group, they don't have it at all. I think it's very important for any group to make their what we call an impact case or a case for support or something. That's the posh terminology for it, but it's basically a paragraph in a Word document saying, right, this is why we do this. These people have suffered addiction for 10 plus years, and whatever circumstances there might be, whatever geographical area, this community garden was neglected for whatever reason, and we want children in our community to have this space and for it to be clean, safe, and accessible. The one thing the why doesn't need to be is pages long. And I know that you can understand that, Kevin. It's tempting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you think, yeah, but we do all this other stuff. And I think, I know, but if you have to be able to get it in a concise, short statement to get people interested initially, I suppose, and you grow it out from there. I mean, you can get really complicated about this stuff, or it's just very simple. I mean, we were chatting, and I really, really recommend. Now, this is about leadership, isn't it? It says how great
Yeah.
leaders inspire people to take action. What it is, it's about the why. So there's a TED talk on it. It's on YouTube if you look up Simon Sinek, and that is one of the best examples of why you need the proper, clear place of support for your group.
Yeah, I agree. I think when you get down to it, I kind of shorten it to why is it worth you getting out of bed in the morning, and why should I care?
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm stood here with three 10 euro notes, £10 notes, whatever it might be, and there's 20 of you asking me for money, in 2 sentences, which of you is going to compel me enough to part with 10 quid, whatever it might be? Or why should I come dig ditches in your community garden or your allotment? What else? What are we going to get out of it? I think that's very key.
Awesome.